or
How come
84
all
inch
the
wrist, but I
cops
hit
we've ever met in jiu-jitsu are like 6'9",
gigantic.
just monsters? And it's
Like,
where's
yeah.
the short cops?
Yeah, I'm like, what the heck? Dude, it's like ridiculous. I shook hands with him, and again, another guy, his hands are like
Just-
freaking frying pans. I'm
Yeah,
like,
man.
what the hell is this?
I don't have big hands.
Yeah,
wish
well, I have average sized hands.
Yeah,
I have long,
normal.
skinny fingers, like, but like, I have like no meat. It's like,
My hands
without thin. Like,
are a
not for my
little
mom.
meaty,
That's,
but that's from
you know, I got
lifting,
no meat.
right? My hands
Dude,
are
I've been
really from
lifting.
lifting, but I don't have paws.
Never.
I wish I had like
I don't
extra
like
paws. You know, like good old bear paws. That would be nice.
longer fingers would be nice,
Longer
just so I can
fingers, yeah.
clock on stuff.
So you can
Like-
get around and like. Welcome to the Oldhammer podcast, where life meets the mats. My name is Sam. As always, I'm here with my good buddy Gordon. How you doing, Gordon?
Good. I am exhausted.
Yeah,
Good.
we've been training more, which is a good thing. But also we're old, so it can be rough. I'm on my first day of 3 this week. I'm doing 3 in a row because we had a holiday on Monday. So usually I try to split it up in one, take a break, and then 2. Also to deal with some other physical stuff to keep me in condition. But yeah, you were rolling hard this week though. Today.
Wednesday is my day one, and then I got wrestling tomorrow covered, and then it should be fun. And then I have another training session on Friday. I would go on the weekend, but we have a birthday party to attend.
I've avoided weekends unless we're going to do an open mat, but I've negotiated one evening a week with the wife that I can get away because my daughter's still young and she is as stubborn as my entire ancestor line of Vikings, so she sometimes requires 2 parents. But just before we get into that, I almost forgot. Do you have something special on your shirt? Let's mention it. Let's talk about it for a real quick second.
New merch. It's embroidered. Right up close to the camera.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah.
Look at that. In gold, red,
Gold.
beautiful, black. It's a hoodie, right? Like, yeah, you got a full hood?
That's not hoodie, but
No,
I
it's a
ordered
sweater?
the sweater because I get choked enough and I don't need a hoodie on my head.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fair. I got a stupid hoodie here. But, yeah, so, obviously...
Eventually, we'll have merch up, once we get things rolling. But, we're trialing some brands out there, some different quality shirts and whatnot, and sampling them and seeing how much we like them and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this. This thing's super nice. I think it's Planet Heritage. That's what they're called, the brand. And then I got the company embroidered it, so it's pretty nice.
Nice. So yeah, everyone, I think we're gonna. I need to pick up mine from yours. I think mine isn't the embroidered one. I'll probably pick up an embroidered hoodie at some point because you say it's really nice. But we'll start wearing them on the podcast. Stay tuned for merch down the line, so you can rep us and
Or just if you like a nice design.
It's just like a nice hammer.
Yeah.
Warhammer.
There's a Warhammer right in the front. Yeah. Hence Oldhammer. And yeah, if you just want something comfy for before and after your destructive rolls, stay tuned because we're working on it.
Yeah.
All right.
But
So that's the tell them about the merch section.
that's our shameless plug.
Shameless plug. But back to what you were saying about your rolling. You're doing Wednesday.
Well, I mean, today,
Yeah.
I've been beat up like crazy. I had 4 days off because of work. Wasn't able to go to any of the classes. But today's my first day back, and it was pretty hard. Like today was the first day I was making friends. I'm 38, so like sound like a kid. Like, oh, I made friends today, mommy. But I think that's really important. Like when we started, obviously we were friends before we started, and then we went there. So, and I was introduced to Jiu-Jitsu by a friend, Justin Wong. So I was never alone doing Jiu-Jitsu. And then you make more friends there. It's easier, you come with a friend, you get introduced, and they know people, so you kind of assimilate it into a group, especially when you're younger. But when you're older and you go train in a new gym, you have to feel the place out. Like what's the vibe like, and even if you like it, sometimes it can be low. It can be like a lonely sport because like you go there, you spend an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever how long it is. Even if like the place is super friendly, like my place is really friendly, but then it's kind of like, oh, but I want a little extra. I want to do some more extra training. I want to do some drilling, but you don't know the people, so you don't know how to approach them. They don't know you. It's like hey, it's a random dude asking me to do drills and stuff like that. It's like I'm with you to tear my knee apart, like. I got other friends that I'm going to drill with. I already established like a friendship, a partnership
Yeah.
at the place.
And along with that, like especially when it comes to drilling, you want to drill with purpose, right? Like we've talked a little bit about if you're drilling, you're not just repeating the move because it's not about memorization. It's about putting a little struggle into it, finding the different spots. So when you're actually doing a live roll, you can do the move. But the thing is, a lot of people at gyms just want to roll, right? So for example, today I learned a new move, not at class, and I wanted to try it. It's called a buggy choke. I'm like, that seems absolutely ridiculous. I want to give it a try, but I didn't get a chance because you have to do it from bottom side mount, right? Like that's the setup. And when somebody's like, you want to roll, I'm not going to be like, yeah, you want to, like, now that it's live rolling, it's not positional situation. It's kind of awkward to ask, be like, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to try to do, but hey, can you start in side control? And then if you happen to pull it off, like, it's awkward. It's an awkward conversation, right?
Especially if you don't know them.
Person, like if it was you, I'd be like, I'm going to try something, get on side mount. And you're going to be like,
yeah.
What the hell was that? And then I'd be like, this is what it is. And then I show you it, and even if I tried, you try to counter, and we'd learn from each other, right? But
yeah,
new place, you don't have your friends like that. At least for the first little while.
Yeah,
so, I get it.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, today was the first day that like I talked to other people, and it was cool. There's two guys in particular that I got to chat with, and it was cool. Like one was 28, so he's like 10 years younger than me, and I have such a hard time against him. Like he's so strong. He's technically good, and he's like built like a shit brick house. Like I mean, jacked. And then he's got better takedowns than me, so it's like just basically just brutal. And then I can't even get on top where I want.
Yeah, that's fair. There's one dude, and I've been partnered up with him 3 weeks running. I've nicknamed him the Bull. Obviously, I'll keep his name off the pod for anonymity, but like, so I call him the Bull. So from now on, if I refer to the Bull, this is the guy I'm talking about. He's 6'2", probably. He's at least my weight, so at least 250, right? Super strong. And so I personally, I don't feel a strength differential, but the leverage, because he's got long arms, long legs, longer than mine. And for the past 3 weeks, I've been paired up with him to do the instructional, to do the drills, and then, of course, the first thing we do after that is positional rolling, right? And every week, the positional rolling, mount. So my first roll, usually of the week, is I have the Bull full mount. I'm on my back, and I have to re-guard, which is I'm not great at, right? So I have a guy who's at least as strong as me, who's got longer legs, longer arms, is at least as big as me, and it's like, re-guard. I'm like, man, I got 6 minutes of this crap. And if you re-guard or you get a turtle or whatever, you get into a better position than being mounted, you switch. So usually I'll start mounted. It'll take me like 2 minutes to get out of this BS. Then I'll mount him because of his stupid long legs and his ability to hip thrust. He'll like re-guard in a minute. So then I get back on my butt and I have to deal with this for another 2 minutes. And by the time it's over, I'm like, I'm tired and I need to roll 5 more times.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. It's exhausting, man.
It is.
Especially like when you're used to, I don't know what I'm used to. It's from what I used to be used to when we were doing jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I don't remember being so like damn exhausted. Like we were in a hard gym, man. It's the age, man. Gym. Like So the guy I made friends with today, he's a police officer. He's exactly the same age as us. He's 38. So we chatted up a bit, got to know him, got his number, got some digits, and then now we can train together. I told him, hey, you want to drill and stuff? He's like, yeah, man, I drill with everybody and stuff. We can work on stuff after class if there's time, and if he's free, I'm free, that kind of stuff. So that was cool. I established that friend, that beginning of this friendship,
Nice.
and now I got opportunities to get better, and we're just chatting up. And told me, I asked him like, man, what's your goal in jiu-jitsu? And like, obviously, we're trying to be the best that we can be.
Sure.
And I was like, you know what? To be honest, I'm not trying to be the best old guy. I'm just trying to be the best I could possibly be and be a good black belt. Like, I'm gonna be a black belt. Like, I don't even care about the belt. I can stay a blue belt forever, but I want to be beating black belts, and I want to be good. And it's like, I'm not saying that I want to be elite. I think that window, just based on age, has passed. I believe I can be competitive with among the best. Competitive. I mean, like, I don't get tapped out in like maybe 6 minutes, just competitive rolling, and then I get tapped out. But the best, I can handle it. It's like the equivalent. I told him it's like being in the NBA. I may not be a starter. I may get 5 minutes a game. I may average 2 points a game, but I'm in the NBA. Okay, and being in the NBA means I'm elite compared to everybody else. So that's how I'm looking at it, like my
Your progression.
ceiling. That's my ceiling. I'm okay with that. When I was younger, I was like, no, I gotta be the best.
You
I have to be
LeBron.
like,
You got to be
I have
MJ.
to be-
Larry
yeah,
Bird.
not even that. I mean, I have to be in medal contention every time, but I have to set my delusion a little bit lower and be a head of black belt. So I'm good,
Delusions of
and
grandeur.
I can live with that. As you get older, you gotta like scale your
Stop.
dreams a little bit.
Yeah,
You scale your dreams a little bit. It's not like giving up on your dreams. You just gotta be realistic. We're almost 40. I'm not gonna be Gordon Ryan. That's a different Gordon. I'm not gonna be Gordon Ryan, but I can be a very good black belt, and I just have to put in more work, and I gotta understand what I can do and what I can't do quicker than the young guys. Because I have less time. My window is short. I had jiu-jitsu, and I'm just more beat up. Like today, my neck's fucked, man. I got tapped 3 times today, 2,
Oof.
and I tapped out to things I normally wouldn't tap out to. Like I got very near choke, and I've been attacked so much like the last 3 weeks on my neck. My trachea is just fucking sore. So when he put his arm across, I was like, oh my god, I'm fucking going to tap. It's just like he didn't even need to crank it. I was already tapping. It's like, man, a younger me was like, yeah, you gotta put me to sleep, man. But now I'm like, yeah, it's like talking. Hey, where did I go wrong here? And like, it's a lot more smarter too. Like, first of all, I don't want to go to sleep. 2, my neck's fucked, and I don't want to be like. Clearly, if my neck is sore from being attacked all the time, I'm making a mistake. Like, I'm leaving my neck out there. So that's how I'm going about it. Before I was like, fuck this. I wouldn't even have thought about it. It's like, I wouldn't been like, oh, my neck, I'm leaving my neck out. That's why my neck's always fucking sore.
That's just you're displaying wisdom, which is something that only comes with age. There's education, there's intelligence, and there's wisdom. All 3 are connected, but not all 3 are the same. And
crippling neck pain will do that to you.
Crippling neck pain will give you wisdom. Right now, it's my right hamstring, which I was really worried about today, and so I was avoiding anything to do with leg locks or triangles or even arm bars. I had one guy, and I'm like, I could try arm bar. No, no, we'll just circle around to the back because my right hamstring is so tight. Even after stretching it, I'm like, I do not need to pop that. I've had hamstring injuries, and they are so painful. So you know what? We're just not gonna play that game, and we'll circle around to a headlock because that's much easier to deal with.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with getting older. Like, I think with jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of what is most efficient, and then what is most efficient for your age, right? Because the entire concept of jiu-jitsu was based around the smaller person being able to unlock moves to defeat the bigger person, but that's changed over time, and it's not the same anymore.
Big guys are just as technical.
Because the big guys are just as technical, and so now it's I think a lot of it is, and you see it at the highest level when you're watching these things, is what's most efficient. What is the maximum gain for the least amount of energy expenditure? And you hear Gordon Ryan and John Danaher talk about that, and Lex Friedman talks about it as well. If you listen to Lex, and they all say a variety of the same thing. How can I get in the best position for either a submission or control, but exerting not the least amount of effort, but taxing yourself the least.
Yeah, see, I think that's a approach that like some of the older guys like ourselves don't really approach it that way. Well, obviously we should, So, because for me, all my favorite attacks are like arm triangles, darces, front headlocks, everything. They take massive amounts of energy if you don't do it properly. Like you gas your arms out and stuff. Whereas you attack, guys fucking attacking legs now. You're not gonna get gassed up from that shit, man. Like your neck's not gonna get fucked up. Like I'm trying to wrap your arm, your head with my arm and my head.
Yeah.
Squeeze your head.
The
Death.
one,
And if I don't get it done, my arms are done. They're gassed. I don't have that energy to do like 7, 8 rolls like that. And if people know, like people are getting smart. I've only been in 3 weeks. They already know that's what like all I go for.
yeah.
Arm triangle with darces. That's it.
I definitely
over and over again.
I definitely need. I've been learning more leg locks, but I definitely need to start instituting those in my rolls. But one thing I revisited because of the class was the guillotine, the different versions of guillotines, because they you're right, arm triangles, arm bar, so like they take a lot. Kimuras, they take a lot of your arm strength. But a guillotine, if you lock up your hands right, not so much. Like you can kind of relax your biceps a little bit. Because you don't need to squeeze so much because you can use your legs if you've got it correct, or you can use that leverage. So I did pull one off today on a dude. It was the last roll of the day, and I don't know I don't know what belt he was. That's one thing I am finding a little bit difficult to figure out is who is at what levels. Because sometimes I roll with the guy and I'm like, yeah, he's definitely a blue belt. And then other times I'm like, well, I know the purple belt and I know the black belt. He's teaching the class. I don't see any brown belts, but then I'm like, oh, this guy looks, has been, I saw him roll, maybe he knows some stuff. And then I roll with it. I'm like, yeah, you're a white belt, aren't you? Yeah. That's okay. But so that's one thing I'm finding difficult at the moment is gauging. It sounds like at your gym, it's easier to figure that out.
Yeah, well, we don't really get to choose who we roll with. Actually, we do. That's not true. It's like you don't know. So like you don't know who's who in terms of like what the belt level is, even if they're like a blue belt. But like there's no stripes between. It's like you're blue belt until you become purple.
Okay.
So that's how like everybody gets promoted, and you're purple until you become a brown belt, so on and so forth. So like you don't know where everybody's at. Oh, I did really well against you. I tapped you out, that kind of thing. Or it was like back and forth. It was really good. Then I rolled with another blue belt, and he's only been trained for a year and a half. And then I roll with him. I'm fighting for my life. I'm like, damn, you're a blue belt for sure. Because I rolled with the purple, I got destroyed. And I'm like, but you're better than all the blue. So you're pretty close to purple belt. Like at least your top game is, but it's gnarly. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, it's hard because but then sometimes you don't know how hard you have to go. But obviously you get to know people.
Yeah.
You know their skill set. It's like, okay, I have to go hard with this guy. Like I cannot. This is 100% roll because
well, the bull,
it's gonna be hard.
The bull, I don't think he has his blue belt yet, technically. But man, that's rough. It's just rough. He has a cauliflower ear, so I'm pretty sure he wrestled, and from his movements, I can feel like he wrestled before he started doing jiu-jitsu. He's grappled. That's why I'm like, I don't think you're.
Yeah, let's ask him.
Yeah, we started talking today, but then we had to switch partners. And this gym does the same thing similar to yours, where that 6 minutes is up and you have like 5 seconds to find somebody else and you're into it. So I didn't really get a chance to ask him if he grappled before, because his jiu-jitsu technique isn't as precise, I would say, as some of the blue belts that I've met. But it's just he moves and his strength.
He might be a judoka,
Yeah, he could be. I don't know, but he's definitely done something because he's a pain in the ass in the best way. In the best way.
Like for me personally, I rode with a brown belt judoka.
Yeah.
And even though he's an older guy, he's like 50 something. His like when we are like standing, there's no one taking this guy down. Like this guy, like unless I shoot because he's like a little older and slower. Well, he's a lot older and slower, so it's easier for me to shoot. But I'm not tripping this guy. I'm not throwing this guy off. But when he's on top, his grip is ridiculous. He's only like 185 pounds, but his grip is so monstrous. I'm like, I immediately knew like he's done that before. Yeah. And it's just the way he was attacking the hand fighting. Like I'm spending like 2 minutes hand fighting this guy to the death, and I'm losing badly. I'm like, oh my god. Like,
hey, it's good experience.
I'm just trying to get things going. And then so obviously his base, it was so hard to sweep him, is because his base was so enjoyed. I had to wrestle up and take advantage of the fact that he's old.
That's
To
funny coming from
back him
us.
up. Like, yeah,
Gotta take advantage
yes.
of the old guy.
Yeah,
Because
he's the
I'm
second.
the
I'm the
younger
second
old
oldest guy
guy.
there. I'm the second oldest guy there. Okay, so
Yeah, you said that.
I use I use my youth against him, and it's the only time I can. And yeah, I wrestled up, and once he got his back, it was it's a different story because in judo they don't really do as much
Yeah.
stuff on the ground, especially on the back. So I was able to do well against him. Speaking of he's a cop. Everybody I trained with there was
He's a
not
cop.
everybody, sorry, half the people are a cop. He's a former VPD detective. He's retired. The guy I made friends with today, he's a blue belt, and he's the same age as me. He's a RCMP officer. He brought a buddy there.
Who's a
He's
cop?
like 6'4", like gigantic. Like his wingspan was ridiculous. He must have like an 82-inch wingspan or
How come
84
all
inch
the
wingspan.
cops we've ever met in jiu-jitsu are like 6'9",
gigantic.
just monsters? And it's
Like,
where's
yeah.
the short cops?
Yeah, I'm like, what the heck, dude? It was like ridiculous. I shook hands with him, and again, another guy, his hands
It
were
was
like
just-
freaking frying pans. I'm
Yeah,
like,
man.
what the hell is this?
I don't have big hands.
Yeah,
I wish
I
I-
have average size hands.
Yeah,
I have long,
normal.
skinny fingers. But I have like no meat. It's like
My hands
real
are
thin.
a
Not from
little
my mom.
meaty,
My hands-
but that's from
No, I got no
lifting,
meat.
right? My hands
Yeah,
are
I've been
meaty from
lifting.
lifting, but I don't have paws.
Never.
I wish I had like
I don't
monster
like
paws. Like good old bear paws. That would be nice.
longer fingers would be nice,
Longer
just so
fingers,
I
yeah.
can walk on stuff.
So you can get around and like.
Yeah, because especially when I
get
get my
the-
grip going,
Ow!
Cradle that we love so much, I'm just like
I got the cradle on this dude
Almost.
twice today.
Oh,
I felt
dude,
so
it
happy. I
was
was like,
awesome.
ha ha!
It's-
I'm just
You
gonna
know
hang
how
out here and breathe.
so
because
many jiu-jitsu guys don't know
the cradle.
cradle. And I've been using that every opportunity I've been given. Dude, I do the
Oh.
arm cradle, so I'll attack the head and arm.
Yeah, yeah.
It's still loose because they get back up. I don't give a shit, man. It's when they get back up, I just sit back. I just go
No.
right into a guillotine. I just sit right back into it. I'm like, yes.
I got the cradle on him, and then I put the leg over, right, and then he rolled on his back, and I was like, "Cool, I'll take it."
Yeah,
And he just
Dude, I
gave
take
up
the
his
back from there.
and I was like, Thanks.
Let's take the back from there. So now, telling my bicep review. Dude, I'm so cautious. Once I get the cradle, I switch my hips to pin their leg immediately, and then I get off my feet. I'm always on my feet now, driving them forward so they can't turn and kick
can't do
out.
the thing.
And I hook the foot, sit back out, and then I just squeeze and make it super uncomfortable for like 10, 15 seconds. I can just hold it there. It's actually really easy. Once you get there, you can hold it there
Yeah.
for like 30 seconds, a minute. But then I walk around, take their back from back. Safety belt.
Yeah.
Try to take it. I'm really bad at taking people's backs, and really bad at not giving up my back. I'm like a fucking whore. I'm just like giving up the back. It's terrible.
I'm terrible at regarding because I don't like being in guard in the first place. So I'm just really bad at that. And the other, I don't really give up my back that much. But the other place I am not good at is if somebody side mounts me, I just go to turtle. I'm fine from turtle, but like if you're on my side
They
mount,
side mount you?
sorry.
Oh yeah. No, they side mount you?
Yeah,
Or you're on-
if they slip past my guard and then they get in my side mount, I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna go to turtle. I have no sweeps from here. I have no submissions from here, and screw regarding because I don't want to be in guard anyways. So here, turtle.
I love being
like
on
it's
top
it's
and on the bottom.
it's actually I do have one escape that you showed me that has worked. I've used it, but it's one of the ones where you slip under and there's only a
Oh, you
matter of
went to the
time
back arm?
until somebody figures out and is like, you mean north south? Give me, great. So yeah, I got to work on those. Pretty.
If I
pretty
do
badly.
it right, I regard really quickly. I'll escape out. Almost never have been able to go to a choke from there. So then I regard really quickly. That's fine. Then we're good. But then if I do it wrong, I get back up. I give out my back, which is against
Yeah,
guys
you've done
that are
that
good
against me.
punch it. And, dude, they just take
And-
my back. Well, then it's a battle. It's like, okay, this round's over. This is me fighting not to get choked out. This is me, like, it sucks ass. And I'm so exhausted. Like, I haven't been able to recover in between rounds all that well. Like, and it's just like blue belt, purple belt. I get one white belt. I'm like, and then obviously I just ragdoll him. One small white
Yeah.
belt. Yes.
My rolls today was the bull, and that's just a physical exhaustion. The next one was against another blue belt, but I just took his back. doing the thing that I just described with the cradle. And then once I had his back, I just wouldn't let him out of it. The one thing I found with no gi, unlike gi, is once you've taken the back, if even because it's slippery, it both makes it harder and easier in a way to stay on their back. If you stay static on their back, I find you're gonna lose it, right? But because if you're dynamic on their back and you're using your feet and legs appropriately, if they roll, you roll with them. If they go this way, you slide that way, and you can just stay on the back. You can kind of ride it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have some like bad habits that like and
We all
tendencies.
do.
I do get the back that I haven't been able yet to let go from gi because when you take the back in no gi, you gotta sit up high, so your arm is over the shoulder, the elbows over the shoulder, so you really get a good choke in, or else you just don't have the leverage, so you're just trying to choke from here. It's not gonna happen. But with the gi, I can honestly say I maybe a handful of times I went for a rear naked choke. I'm the bow and arrow choke like 99% of the time. I just slip it in. And then you can be lower still. You can get away with not being as high in gi
Yep.
on the
Because you have
back.
collar.
And if I sink the collar in, dude, I'm dismounting straight away. My knee goes to your face or my knee goes to your ribs. I grab your pants. I just reef it. Even if I mess it up,
It's
I
still
get
gonna
inside
suck,
mount.
and you're stuck.
Yeah, I get side mount. I don't give a shit. So like I've developed a lot of like, even though I love no gi more, my training has been gi. So like, and now I don't have the luxury of going against people who are in the same position where they're like they're doing gi, they're doing no gi, but they're gi guys. Now it's just like I'm going against no gi guys, and they never touch a gi before, and they're like they don't have the same tendencies. They don't have the same bad habits that can be carried over. And yeah.
One thing I just recognized today is actually the bull tried to crucify me. He didn't. But speaking of bad habits, I forget how that happened, but I remember my arm being in his legs and him being underneath me and reaching for my left arm, and I was like, "Oh no, how did I end up here? We're just gonna and scramble out of this one." But yeah, I need to analyze that more. I need to figure that one out because that was definitely a bad habit. I'm sure I did. I think it was a guard pass gone horribly wrong. So, anyways, that's crossed my mind.
Yeah. Sure.
That being said,
But
you wanted to talk about something else today. We've just been going over our current roles, but you had another topic.
oh, but
I think it was about.
I know I did, but I was gonna say.
I think it was about training. Like, was it conditioning? Training conditioning for jiu-jitsu?
Oh yeah. Yeah. As a former powerlifter, it's done fairly well.
Two deadlift records.
Yeah,
Two deadlift
Two-
records and three
two
championships.
two provincial titles. So, and I only trained for like 2.5 years. So, in terms of my lower body strength, I got it. Upper body strength, that's another thing. But
Yeah, what's your max bench? I'm kidding. Don't. It's not
I'm
important.
at bench.
It's not important. It's not important.
330.
That is a
But
that is
the
a bro
point-
bro question. Sorry, go ahead.
But like the point I'm trying to make is that when I came back to jiu-jitsu, I was just lifting for fun, so I was still fit, still strong, had a lot of residual strength, but my conditioning overall was pretty shit. So when I came out of jiu-jitsu, I was of this mindset that, man, I don't give a fuck about my weight, as long as I'm fit, I won't care about the technique. And obviously you should, technique and then the tactics of jiu-jitsu are more important. And this still trumps like strength and conditioning. But now that I'm training again, I just realized that everybody is fucking strong as shit. Before I would be strong as shit, and everybody would not. I would be the outlier in terms of one of the few guys lifting. There'd be like a handful of guys. There'd be a group of guys that lift weights, and you knew who they were. But now it's like the handful of guys that don't lift weights,
Yeah.
and now everybody's lifting weights, and they're on the sauce. So
They're on the sauce.
it's like, okay, what the fuck? So a mistake that I made coming back to jiu-jitsu was thinking that I didn't really need to do that much strength conditioning. It's like genetically, all I need to do for my back is just do pull-ups and sandbag training. That's all I need to do, and I can still squat like 400 and deadlift 500 without actually deadlifting and squatting. So I'm like, oh, okay, I took it for granted. Like, oh yeah, I'm strong enough for jiu-jitsu. But what I didn't realize is that there are guys that do the same, but they're way more conditioned and they're way bigger, and their isometric strength is retarded. They got this fucking the isometric strength is so good, and their muscular endurance is so good too. So I'm like, just by living off my residual strength from before as a powerlifter, it's not a good idea. And I made the mistake of thinking that, oh, I'm just going to fight at the lowest weight class, try to diet down, or whatever it was. And I did that same mistake as a powerlifter. When I first started powerlifting, I was less than 200 pounds. It's a little bit lighter than I am right now. I think it was like 198. And then I competed in powerlifting, my first powerlifting meet, Fall Classic. And I remember I came second, so that wasn't too bad. But the guy who beat me was so fucking jacked. And I realized, like, and I would look around, even the guys I would beat, they were so jacked. And I realized that, like, I need to get bigger for powerlifting. So 8 months later, all natural, I went from 198 pounds to 225 pounds. And my deadlift went from like 560, I think, 570, 680 pounds. I gained 100 pounds in my deadlift in 8 months.
That's
9
insane.
Months. And it exploded. I told people, when there's weight classes, you don't really get to determine your weight class, in the sense that just because you are a light guy in, like, say, if you're powerlifting or jiu-jitsu, say you're 155 pounds, you fight at like that weight class, whatever the weight class is. Sure. You think, or compete in powerlifting, you think, oh, I'm gonna go as strong as possible for 155. But the thing is, you may not see your true potential unless you gain 30 pounds to get to 185. So when I decided to really let my body go and get as big, as muscular as possible for powerlifting, I saw all my gains. It's just like I couldn't stop putting more weight on the bar. It was just ridiculous. My squat went up, my bench went up, my deadlift definitely went up. It just exploded, and lifting became easier because I was like I wasn't like trying to get like fatter. I was like trying to build more muscle.
Well, and let my body muscle weighs.
Exactly. So for jiu-jitsu, I came in the mindset like I did with powerlifting initially, like thinking, oh, I don't need to have that much muscle. Wrong. I 100% believe wholeheartedly that if I were to bulk up 225, 230, my jiu-jitsu will improve. Especially because I'm a top dominant guy, like my top game player, and on the bottom, I use leverages to sweep. I'm just trying to get out there and sweep or wrestle up, and then create a dogfight. Make it really hard for my opponents doing that as much as possible. Obviously, I'm working my guard, but at this moment right now, like, if I can get on top and pass quickly, like blitz pass, I tend to have a problem, because then obviously my technique is not up to par. But I'm gassing out, man. I'm getting all these aches and pains from this, like, even lighter guys that I beat it's bad enough that I'm beating it. Like, I beat a white belt senseless. Multiple taps, and at the end he's like almost like, are you okay? Are you tired? I'm just like, I'm the one tapping you out, and you're asking me if I'm okay, because I'm just gassed. I'm just so out of shape for jiu-jitsu, and what the fuck? So I realized I need to be more powerful and bigger. I need to grow into weight class. Now I had concerns. I'm only 5'10" with slight frame, so I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to be too small to be. I don't want to go against monsters in jiu-jitsu, but that's why I thought about powerlifting. I was like, man, I'm too small to go against the heavyweights in powerlifting. But I did anyways, and I did well. So I'm not getting punched in the fucking head, so I should just, like, not fighting a Francis Ngannou here. Yeah, so might as well.
I mean, for me, there's two different things there. One, I didn't compete in powerlifting. I did do powerlifting training, but that's because I was doing strongman stuff, right? And the thing is, in strongman, weight class isn't really a thing. I mean, it is. There's technically a middleweight. But
the lightest weight is like 185 pounds or like 200 pounds. Lightweight. That's heavyweight.
210? I think it's 210 or 220.
So roughly, I think it's like a little less than 200 or 198, some weird number.
I think in strongman, there's the pros, and then there's the juniors, the amateurs, right? In the amateurs, I think it's 180. In the pros, the middleweight is up to 220 or 225, right? But anything bigger than that is just you're on the heavyweight side, right? So while I was training, there was no point in. I'm a natural heavyweight. I was 190 pounds in grade 8. Like, there's no way I'm gonna. When we were competing, I fought at 205 and had to cut 20 pounds, and it was the worst fucking shit ever. So I'm never gonna do that again, especially now that I'm 38. So I was just a natural heavyweight. So while I was doing that stuff, there was no reason not to put on weight, right? So it's like, are you looking at the scale? No, I don't care if I'm 225, 235, 250, as long as my deadlift is over 500 and my yoke is over 700, we're doing fine, right? If I can farmers carry this much, great, right? So there was never that problem for me. I never had that mindset. But when we came back and you were like, you want to roll, and all I've been doing was, training heavy, there was a shift in my mindset where I'm like, your heart is not going to be able to take this because everything you've been doing has been, 60 seconds or less, right? And then you get a 3 to 5 minute break. So I actually started, because of my knees, using the elliptical machine, 30 minutes, 3 times a week, plus starting to roll with you. And that sucked for the first 4-5 weeks. And I have asthma to boot, which has actually been acting up. And it was really tough to work through because, you're absolutely right. I'm sure if I came to roll at your gym right now and I did the 6 rolls at roll 4, I'd be like, you okay? I'm like, I'm going to die, right? The only saving grace is that I am as big as I am. So I can stall in certain positions, which I definitely did today, right? I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to take a breather right here to slow my heart rate down. So there was that. Definitely having to do more conditioning. And now that we're actually back in class and rolling, more often, I felt it get better. But the other thing I had to do is I had to, in my mind, switch to some of those ancillary muscles that I didn't work out so much before, right? So, if you're doing strongman or powerlifting training, it's about the big lifts, big compound lifts, right? So you're doing your squats, your deadlifts, your bench press for strength, and then for strongman, you're doing your yokes, your stone lifts, your sandbag training, right? Your farmer's carries, stuff like that, chain drag, right? But you know what you're not doing? You're not strengthening your rear delts. You're not doing that ancillary stupid exercise that all bodybuilders do, but everybody else is like, do I really need to do that? Until I started getting shoulder pain, right? I'm getting front delt pain because now in jiu-jitsu, you're huddled up, right? You're like squeezing in there. So I started incorporating some rear delt flies. I'm like, oh, my shoulder pain started to go away. It's still a little tight there, but that's much better. Same thing with my hamstrings. Well, I'm still doing squats, but that's a lot of quad, a lot of glute, but I don't work out my hamstrings that much. Oh, I'm having front hip pain because everything's pulling forward. Maybe I should do some RDLs to strengthen my damn hamstrings because I'm using them more. And it was just stuff like that. And I also discussed it with my physio. Like I'm hurting here now that I think it's from doing more jiu-jitsu. It's like, oh, well, you were forced to use the muscles that were being compensated for in those big compound lifts that you weren't doing before, right? So now my training has I still do the compound lifts, but like I'm doing bicep curls again. I didn't do bicep curls for like 5 years, but you actually use your biceps when you're gripping.
Yeah.
And I remember rolling with you one of the first times back and like coming home and my hands were just shaking because my
first roll, like my arms were so pumped, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now it's like whatever, my arms are fine. Dude, it was like disgusting. Like I couldn't grip. It was like gone.
So in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but at least for me, if you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're right. Now guys are just stupid strong because they're weightlifting, right? But also I think it needs to be not necessarily a bodybuilding style, but more towards that. You have to start doing the groupings that support your major muscles because otherwise you're gonna encounter a weakness somewhere or pain or worst, get injured, right? Because that muscle just can't take the strain that your other muscles were compensating for in a different lift.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion. I think it's required now, right? Obviously, if you're just brand new to jiu-jitsu and your body can't take it, please don't do a 4-day push-pull split on your body and roll 4 times a week. You'll die. Ease into it. But as you progress, I think it's something that you're going to want to definitely consider, right? Looking for your power moves to build overall strength, but then your ancillary muscle groups. And I'm not saying you have to do like 5 sets of 20 reps for your tricep extensions, but you should probably do something, right?
Oh.
Just do some like skull crushers after your bench to pump the muscle, to burn it, right? So it maintains that completeness in your body.
I think that like it's a fine line you have to toe because like if you do a lot of jiu-jitsu, let's put it, the more jiu-jitsu you do, the less time you need to be in gym. So basically you're just doing a lot of prehab kind of thing. and some strength training. It's hard to it's hard to this jiu-jitsu is such a taxing sport. Grappling in general is a taxing sport, and if you're doing like 5, 6 days of training, and if you're real crazy, you're doing multiple sessions some days, your body is beat. So you need to find a strength and conditioning um, program or routine, whatever you want to call it, that doesn't like add more fatigue, or at least not so much fatigue that takes away from your grappling and make you susceptible to more injury, which is like the whole point of you doing strength and conditioning to not get hurt. So that's like if you already have a bit of experience lifting weights, it's not so much of an issue. It's that you know the dial it back, you kind of know how it feels. But if you're new to jiu-jitsu and you're new to weightlifting, that's a lot to take in. So for regardless of age, in my opinion. Obviously, if you're younger, you can get away with more mistakes. Like when I was younger, I get dropped my neck, and then next day I'm like,
Yeah.
lifting, I'm fine. Like today, I got
Or even worse, you get
I
drunk.
got packed so much today, but now my neck hurts.
Yeah, or I remember being 20, 24, whatever, getting drunk the night before, and then going to do a squat deadlift session the next day and being like, well, I feel kind of but we're still going to...
Yeah, those days are
I
gone.
don't really
Those
drink
days
anymore.
are.
I'll have a beer
I don't
like
drink at
once
all.
a month if my buddy's over or something, or if it's a special occasion, but I don't like drinking heavily ever.
I sustain from alcohol, so like I don't drink at all. But
Different
even
topic,
if
but
I did,
yeah.
yeah. But what I'm trying to get at is that you build up so much fatigue from jiu-jitsu that if you're starting out, and this is primarily for it's for everyone, but primarily for older people, like you're like near 40 or you're over 40 or whatever, and you're like, yeah, I'm doing jiu-jitsu 4 days a week, but I'm fucked. My body's fucked. Like I thought this was going to get me healthier. First of all,
It will.
jiu-jitsu, if you want to get like actual healthy like fitness,
Oh.
jiu-jitsu probably isn't the place for you. You will be better than your sedentary lifestyle in terms of fitness, but company with that special gift of jiu-jitsu is crippling joint pain, crippling muscle pain. Because you get dropped in your head sometimes. Sometimes you get like sometimes you land and your knee goes the wrong way. Not like nothing malicious. Shit happens, right? And grappling is not. People call it like the gentle. Or jiu-jitsu is not gentle. Anywhere where you can get a spiral fracture because someone decides to take your elbow the other way, it's not a gentle sport.
Or
That's a
pop your knee
marketing.
out.
That's a marketing thing. It is nothing gentle but jiu-jitsu. Okay, where if I can. It's a sport where I can cripple people for life or get crippled for life. That is not gentle.
I did an anaconda choke on a guy today, and I reminded myself, be gentle, because your neck. They call it a choke. I'm sorry, it's not a choke. It's a neck crank. If you do it the wrong way. So like you're absolutely right. If you're looking to get better, just be better physically fit. Find a gym, find a cardio program.
You can still do jiu-jitsu, but find a really friendly recreational place. There's like a place in Richmond called Advantage Jiu-Jitsu, and they have a great kids program from what I hear. I saw it on the podcast, and they also have they have a very family friendly environment with their jiu-jitsu. So if you want hard rolls out here, you can get it. You gotta find those certain people. There, every gym has those people, but for the most part, they're there to learn jiu-jitsu and have fun and all that stuff. Whereas, I'm trying to, too much to my dismay, like my body's dismay. I'm trying to be athletic, right? I'm trying to compete, and I'm going against people who are they want to win. It's not. They're not doing jiu-jitsu for health benefits. They're doing jiu-jitsu so they can go out there and crush other people. And that's like even the people that are there on like week 2. Like never done jiu-jitsu, or like the first month jiu-jitsu, I asked them, "Are you gonna compete?" They're like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna compete." I'm like, "Are you sure?" It's like before some people back in the day, you got to be kind of coaxed into competing. These guys are like, "Yeah, I'm gonna compete." It's like, oh, as much as possible. I'm like, dude, you've just been doing jiu-jitsu like for a month, and they're like, "No, I'm gonna go there and kill everybody." I'm like, dude, you're like basically like built like a dork. It's like, nah, it's okay. They don't care. It's like they got that mindset coming in, but it's friendly. It's like everybody is trying to help each other.
That Jack
But it's
Russell
like
mindset.
my goal is to be very good at jiu-jitsu. I'm not doing jiu-jitsu to say I did jiu-jitsu. I'm doing jiu-jitsu so I can go around legally crippling people if they don't tap.
So
that's why I'm there.
So to step back, I am going to make one recommendation to the older folks who may be getting into jiu-jitsu that you never lifted weights. Maybe you did some cardio stuff. Maybe you run. I don't know.
Even if you did lift weights.
Even if you did, but especially if you didn't. And this is my recommendation. Find a mobility program that'll work for you. It's a mobility strength program you can do with body weights. Body weight, it's it's a compound. A good one will be a compound of like a stretch plus strengthening, and that start there, because it will not fatigue you, like if you start lifting weights. It will actually help with your active recovery, and it'll help with your jiu-jitsu mobility. You can look up this stuff on other YouTube channels. Maybe at some point I'll show you my 15-minute mobility drills to warm up. But yeah, you can talk to your physio about it too. But that's my recommendation. Look up some stretching mobility drills that you can do 20-30 minutes a day. It'll help with your recovery. It'll help with your strengthening. It'll help with your ligaments, which we like to tear. And that's what I think you should start with. If you've never done anything, or if your other focus has primarily been cardio sports, if you're a marathon runner and now you're doing jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I would start there and then look into a weightlifting program down the road that can help you. Because I have to modify mine now. I used to do, 4 days a week, heavy compound lifts. Now I'm down to 2 days a week with heavy compound lifts, and 2 days a week with mostly accessory lifts, or reduced modified heavy lifts. They're not heavy anymore.
For me, like prior to jiu-jitsu, even when we were training just like once a week together, I was like sandbagging using the sandbag like almost every day. I would either.
Okay, you said sandbagging, so you're going to another school and just. I'm a novice. I have never done jiu-jitsu.
What's jiu-jitsu? But with the sandbag, I have a good sandbag. I would just lift it to my chest kind of thing, and then do for speed. And there would be a timer, that kind of thing, or I'll walk around with it.
Yeah.
And now I couldn't imagine doing the sandbag every day. I'll be so fucked.
Sandbag carries suck too, because you get it up on your chest and you can't breathe, and you got to walk 100 feet or something. Yeah, they're awful.
You using the sandbag you're using so much of the same muscle groups that you would in grappling.
Yeah.
That I actually honestly believe that when I was actually in the cradle, like prior to that, leading up to that, I was using the sandbag like 5 days a week, and I was just getting so beat up. Yeah. And then my body was just like about to give and stuff. Right now, I'm like trying to get back some of that strength, which I feel that's like affected my jiu-jitsu in the sense that I'm not as strong as I was, say 3 months ago. Compared to now, I'm not as strong now compared to then. And now I'm doing jiu-jitsu. It's such a demanding sport, and I kind of lost like some of that strength. Well, I know it's going to come back real soon.
Yeah.
And this gives me.
Once you get into more of a routine with your ancillary stuff, that'll strengthen command. When I was doing strongman, I couldn't do sandbag training more than once a week. For me personally, it's just so fatiguing systemically, because you're lifting it off the ground, so you're using your legs, you're using your butt, you're using your arms, you're using your back. You get up on your chest, you walk around, or maybe you're doing sandbag tosses, both shoulders. I couldn't do it more than once a week personally. Any of that stuff. I would just be so wrecked that I'd need like an hour-long hot Epsom salt bath just to feel 1/4 normal the next day. I just couldn't keep up with it. I don't know how you were doing it 5 days a week. That's really impressive to me. I would die.
But that's all I was doing. I'm doing pull-ups. I had no chest, no shoulders, just sandbag, up, down, run around with it, and then fat grip pull-ups, different variations. That's it. That's all I was doing. Like 3 exercises, and I just did that for a long time. And now I'm like, I need a little bit more than that.
Need to listen.
And I actually bench yesterday for the first time.
Oh shit!
For like a year, and then I tore my biceps. So like when I pull down on the bench on my left side, it shakes like crazy. Yeah.
Well, go easy.
I went one plate. Did like 8 reps. I'm like, oh my god.
Short story. I remember when I was doing strongman, and we. For a while there, we were only talking maybe twice a year. Obviously, we met in high school, but life gets in the way. And then I started doing strongman, and I think you found. I'm not on Instagram anymore, but I was on Instagram at the time, and I think you messaged me after I'd been doing it for 6 months or something like that. And you were like, I haven't lifted in 2 years or something like that, right? And now you're getting back into it. But I remember you saying I put 500 pounds on the bar for a squat and almost died. Do you remember that?
Maybe I can't remember.
This would have been like 3,
Probably
4 years ago now.
might have been deadlift. Might have been
Maybe it was
deadlift.
deadlift. I don't know. But I remember you
Probably like
messaging
porn.
me and being like, man, I put 500 pounds on ... and I almost died. I forgot how much that was.
Yeah, yeah. It's like once I stopped competing, I was like, once I decided, I stopped lifting heavy. And I was like, whatever. And
Powerlifting
then
is a
which I was,
really, really taxing sport because it's one of the few ones, like bodybuilding is all about aesthetics. Strongman is just silly, let's be honest. I love it, but it's just silly. All the combat sports have purpose, but powerlifting is like the goal is always to add more to whatever number you had before, right?
yeah,
And the thing is, no matter how strong you get, you can always add 2 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, right? And it's just a strange, it's a strange sport because you can be the strongest person in the world, literally, pound for pound strongest per. What is his name? Hall, I think. I can't. Not Eddie Hall, different guy. Harker, I can't remember. But
sure.
at that level, you're only competing against yourself, right? Because nobody else is, at 225 squatting 700 or whatever.
Yeah,
But that's never going to be good enough for you at
yeah.
that level. Because why can't you squat 710? Right?
Mm.
It's just
I mean,
a strange
like
sport.
it takes this like really like I'm not gonna say special person, but like your interest, you really have to be like so what monolithic is that word like where you just like the same
Yeah.
shit all the time. Like
That,
I did it for a while, but I deep down inside I'm like, man, if I deadlift 800 pounds one day, like am I gonna be satisfied? Like, or would I be more satisfied if I got my black belt in jiu-jitsu?
I
That's why I was like always thinking about jiu-jitsu or some form of combat sport, but primarily jiu-jitsu. It's like, man, I'm like that hole in my heart, powerlifting and other sports couldn't fulfill.
couldn't
It's
feel it.
yeah, it has to be combat sports and primarily jiu-jitsu because like there is an end goal, but yes, you keep on learning more once you become black
There's
belt.
always
Now
more
you're like now you
skills.
know the sport. Now you gotta learn it more. But the thing is like you get to compete, you get to. I feel like it's more relatable. Like obviously being super strong, you can move things. Like when I was at my strongest, I was moving shit for people all the time. But the thing is like I'm more than just a mover, okay?
Yeah.
But and
I'm
if you
a
get in a
human
fight,
being.
yeah, I'm a human being. I'm not just a forklift. But here's the thing: it's not like I've stopped lifting, so I'm not strong, but I can still lift stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the I don't just because I can deadlift 800 pounds doesn't mean I'm going to be able to, fight, right? So people say, "Oh, why you need to fight?" There's guns. It's like yes, 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 yes. But we live in
Oh,
Canada, and
well,
and not everybody has guns. So
we'll have a
when you do
discussion
fight,
on
you gotta have your
self-defense
hands.
another day. Because I
Yeah.
hate that. Why do you need to fight? Do you need to defend yourself? Well, of course you know. Well, there's guns, knives, and this. And it's like
You just call
that's
the police. Like you think like
ah,
as my house is getting invaded, people think, oh, we live in Canada, nobody invades house. Like yeah, you live in fantasy land. So like somebody is trying to come in, hurt my family. Obviously, I'm gonna call the police.
of course.
But like I'm not gonna just stand there as my family gets attacked and just be like, check everything. It's like, oh, but is the TV really that important? No, it's the principle. Okay,
You
don't
know,
fucking come in my house to attack me and my family. We won't have a problem. I don't go around at any time now with the jiu-jitsu that I have. I don't go around starting fucking fights. I'm like, I'm
yeah.
gonna fucking choke you out. I'm gonna choke you out. Fuck you, fuck you. Like I actually try to de-escalate. Like jiu-jitsu humbles you. If you were like
One of the things about
any
learning,
sort of wisdom is you would take the jiu-jitsu beatings that you get. Even if you become a black belt. Most black belts don't go around fucking people up. There's enough black belts in Canada and just in BC alone. That if they were to come together and like a gang and just go around fucking people up, that's a problem.
that would be a problem.
That's a fucking problem. But
The
they
police
don't.
would show up
They're
with
just
rubber bullets and some real
dude,
ones.
yeah, they don't even want to fight. It's like, listen, man, I fight enough.
The,
I get that shit done in the gym. I'm not trying to have a street fight here. Like, I'm
yeah.
trying to do. We're gonna do
The,
de-escalate the situation.
the
That's what I try to do.
the funny
I
thing
try
is
to kill people with kindness now.
the people who really know how to fight, and there's always going to be an exception. So don't at me on this. For most of the people who learn how to fight, when they're in a situation where shit's going south, they are more likely to try not to fight because they know the consequences of getting into an actual fight. They may be highly skilled. They may know they're more skilled. Usually you don't know. If it's a random person, you don't know what they're about, what they've been training. If they've been training, no training. Most likely that's no training. But The point is, you know the harsh consequences both to you and potentially to that person who's attacking you. You are more likely to be like, let's not do this. And if push comes to shove, you just need the capability to,
Dude,
well, resolve the issue as fast as possible and get out of that situation.
To be honest, man, like for me, if I don't want to get a fight because next day I'm gonna do jiu-jitsu. Like I want to fight somebody.
You have other
that knows
priorities.
Because the thing is, like when you get in a street fight, it's like you need to be. There's two options for you. One, you gotta de-escalate it. So you have to be so skilled to de-escalate it where you don't hurt the guy so bad you can pin him down, and then the police can come and you don't get sued. Or you have to like you're a blue belt like us. It's like okay, now I'm not a black belt. I'm a blue belt. I know enough to hurt him, but I don't have enough to kind of subdue him in the sense like we can have a nice conversation. I can hold you down. It's like okay, I have to fuck you up because I'm not good enough to not
do not damage you, and therefore.
And I may know a neck crank or two. I'm gonna crank it because if I let go, I don't have enough skill to subdue you. Or if I do, it's just not. It's exhausting. You know, the street fight, like you're scared and you're nervous. The adrenaline dump happens. You know, if I get somebody on the ground, if I can butcher shot them, I'm gonna butcher shot them. I'm gonna get you in that cradle, and I'm gonna I'm gonna neck crank you to death, man. Like I don't know, especially when my family's there. Like I'm gonna just like fuck me up for my family.
But that's the thing.
I'm gonna neck crank you, man. I'm gonna fuck you up.
You also know the consequences of doing that. He's going to be injured. You're going to be sued. You're going to be charged with assault and battery, regardless if they started it. And it's just going to be a big fucking mess.
It's a mess.
You know what the best thing to do? Leave.
I'm gonna fight.
Just try to leave. Just like, I don't want to do this. Look, man, whatever it is, this isn't worth it. Let's just leave. Right? That's why the number one self-defense technique, assuming you're not with your family and have to defend them, well, do a dad talk. I think we should do a dad talk on that. Anyways,
yeah, sure.
Is run. Just run away.
Especially if you got a weapon. I'm not gonna fight a guy with a gun. Like I'm not fucking John Wick.
Let's try and triangle the guy. I'm gonna fly and triangle the guy holding a knife. That's a
even if he has a knife, I'm not gonna like. Listen, I'm not John Wick. I can't kill you with a pencil. That's not gonna happen.
I'm not gonna take that from you. How about? What do you want? My wallet? Yeah. It's got nothing but cards, man. There's no cash. Here you go. My cell phone. It's company issued. Just whatever, man. Just leave me alone.
But on that note, if you do come at me, you won't stop. Okay, then we're gonna fight.
You have to be prepared for the inevitable situation that they're not going to stop. That's really all it's for, right?
Yeah. But on that note, I gotta get going today because I got dad stuff. I got kid stuff to do.
Dad stuff. We're gonna do. I think we should do maybe next episode dad talk about jiu-jitsu and family. But in the meantime, thank you all for listening. That was another Oldhammer podcast. We appreciate you.
Yeah, each and every one of you.
We'll talk to you soon. Happy rolling.
Yep. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.